Here's something that happens in almost every single salon, more often than you'd think. A woman sits down and within the first 30 seconds, says some version of the exact same sentence. Nothing too crazy, just keep it manageable. Completely reasonable request. But here's the part nobody warns her about, that specific phrase is often the reason she walks out looking older, not younger, because manageable so easily gets turned into flat, and flat is the one thing that ages a face faster than almost anything else. So today we're doing this differently. 9 haircuts, all genuinely low effort, all built with real shape and intention, and by the time we're done, you'll know exactly which one belongs on your head. Hey, welcome back to Ageless Style Secrets. If you're new, this channel exists for one reason: helping women over 60 look genuinely polished and put together, without needing a stylist on speed dial or a budget that stresses you out. Hair happens to be one of the quickest, cheapest ways to change how you look, and that's exactly what we're getting into today. 9 cuts, explained properly, not just names thrown at you. And if you've watched before, you already know how this goes, so grab a seat, this one's a good one. Before we get moving, one small thing. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. Seriously, this channel puts out this kind of practical advice every week, and I'd hate for you to miss the next one. And while you're at it, drop a comment telling me how long your hair is right now. I genuinely want to know what everyone's starting point looks like before we dive into these 9 styles. Okay, let's get into number 1 because it's not what most people expect. Haircut 1. The long layered bob with face framing. Starting with maybe the most universally flattering option that exists for this exact goal. A long bob with soft layers built specifically around the face. A completely blunt bob cut with zero layering can genuinely look heavy. Add soft face framing pieces around the cheekbones and jaw, and the whole thing shifts. Here's the mechanism. Face framing layers pull the eye up, toward the cheekbones and eyes, which is where youthful energy naturally lives on a face. A blunt cut does the opposite, it drags attention down toward the jaw and neck. This particular cut is also genuinely low maintenance, styles beautifully with a simple blow dry, looks equally good air dried with texturizing spray, and grows out gracefully over months. Book it using the phrase long bob with soft face framing layers, not just a bob. That one sentence is the difference between walking out with this cut and walking out with a flatter, heavier version of the same length. Haircut 2. Curtain bangs with length. Curtain bangs have made a real comeback, and for good reason. Unlike a heavy, blunt fringe cut straight across, curtain bangs part gently down the middle and sweep to each side, framing the face like an open curtain rather than sitting as a hard block. This works because it softens the forehead without hiding it completely, and it blends into the rest of the hair, so there's no separate styling routine needed for it. Curtain bangs also grow out far more gracefully than a blunt fringe. Within a few weeks they just blend into the surrounding layers. The real payoff here for women over 60 specifically is how much these lift and soften the upper face, especially for anyone noticing a bit more forehead as hair naturally thins. Plenty of women simply add curtain bangs to a cut they already love. No full haircut change needed. Haircut 3. The textured shoulder length shag. The modern shag earns its spot here because of how effectively it fights that flat, lifeless energy we talked about. A textured shag layers hair throughout its entire length, creating movement and volume rather than one heavy chunk hanging still. Keep the layering soft and blended rather than choppy. That's the detail that makes this age well. A softly textured shag adds body specifically at the crown, exactly where hair often thins first. That volume does a huge amount of visual work. Hair reads as thicker and healthier even on unwashed days. Pairs beautifully with texturizing spray or light mousse applied to damp hair. Air dried, minimal daily effort required. Quick pause, I want to hear from you. Out of the first 3, the long layered bob, curtain bangs, or the textured shag, which one's calling your name? Drop the number in the comments, 1, 2, or 3. I read every single one, and I love seeing what our community gravitates toward. If you're not subscribed yet, now's the moment. This channel drops content exactly like this every week. Give the video a like too. Genuinely helps more women find this before their next salon appointment. Alright, let's keep going. Haircut 4 is where things get a bit more interesting. Haircut 4. The volumizing pixie with soft crown lift. A lot of women rule this one out immediately, assuming pixie means severe. Often it's the exact opposite. A well-cut pixie with soft, gentle lift built into the crown rather than cut flat can be one of the single most flattering, youthful options available, especially for finer or thinning hair. The secret's in the structure, not the amount removed. Soft layering concentrated at the crown, gradually blending into closer cropped sides and back, creates the illusion of real volume and thickness, even on genuinely fine hair. That's completely different from an overly texturized pixie, which can leave finer hair looking sparse. Requires the least daily styling of anything on this entire list. Less hair means less to manage, period. Haircut 5. The long layers with movement. Here's one that surprises people because there's a myth that hair has to get progressively shorter with age. Doesn't. Longer hair past the shoulders can absolutely look youthful and current, as long as it's cut with proper long layering throughout rather than one flat length with zero shape. The key word is movement. Hair that's the same length all the way through, especially past shoulder length, starts to feel heavy and can pull the whole face down visually. Long, soft layers starting around the collarbone or a bit below. Break that heaviness up and let hair bounce naturally. If you love your length, don't cut it. Just ask specifically for long layers starting at the collarbone, instead of a plain trim. Haircut 6. The angled bob with graduated back. The angled or graduated bob, shorter at the back and gradually longer toward the front rather than one uniform length. This subtle angle does something genuinely clever structurally. It builds volume and lift at the crown and back purely through the way layers stack. No heavy styling required. Creates a soft, elongated line along the jaw and neck. One of the most universally flattering effects across nearly every face shape. Photographs beautifully too. That graduated angle catches light and shadow in a way that reads as intentional from any angle. Low maintenance once cut properly, holds shape well between appointments, works air-dried or blown out smooth. Alright, another quick pause. Between the pixie, long layers and the angled bob, which one genuinely surprised you? Drop a comment. I'd love to know if the longer hair can still look young. And Haircut 5 changed anything for you. If this is helping, hit subscribe now if you haven't, and give it a like. Both genuinely help this reach more women before their next appointment. 3 more cuts to go, and honestly the last few might be the most useful on this whole list. Haircut 7. The textured pixie bob hybrid. A style bridging the gap between a true pixie and a slightly longer bob, sometimes called a pixie shag. More length throughout compared to a classic pixie, particularly at the sides and back, while keeping short, textured layers at the crown for that same signature lift. Works beautifully for women who love the low-maintenance appeal of a pixie, but aren't ready for the shortest possible length. Offers real versatility too. Tuck pieces behind the ears, add soft waves for a special occasion, or air dry for a relaxed everyday look. Haircut 8. The soft layered shag with curtain framing. This one combines 2 techniques we've discussed separately, soft shag layering throughout, paired specifically with curtain-style face framing pieces integrated directly into the front sections, rather than a separate fringe. The shag layering provides genuine volume and movement at the crown. The curtain framing pieces draw attention toward the eyes and cheekbones while softening the forehead. Together, incredibly soft, lived in, effortlessly youthful. Many women find they can apply a texturizing spray to damp hair, scrunch and air dry, letting the layering do most of the work. Haircut 9. The asymmetrical sculpted pixie. Saving something special for last. This is a pixie cut using precision point cutting, small controlled sections cut at slightly different angles, creating far more nuanced, dimensional movement than a standard pixie. One side of the crown is intentionally built up with more height and volume than the other, calculated to work with your own natural hair growth pattern. This is genuinely worth seeking out a specialist for. Precision point cutting demands real technical skill. But the payoff is significant. This cut catches light differently from every angle, creating depth that a standard pixie simply can't replicate. It's also remarkably effective for concentrated volume, if you're noticing thinning at the crown specifically. Bonus section. The exact words to use at your next appointment. One last practical thing before we wrap. Skip vague phrases like something easy. Instead say soft layers, not blunt, movement through the crown, or face framing, not a hard line. Bring a reference photo if you have one. If you're nervous about a big change, ask about a transitional cut. A version of any of these 9 that gradually eases you toward the fuller change rather than jumping in all at once. Stylists genuinely appreciate the specificity. It removes the guesswork and dramatically raises your odds of walking out actually happy. Closing. So there you go, 9 haircuts: the long layered bob, curtain bangs, the textured shag, the volumizing pixie, long layers with movement, the angled bob, the pixie bob hybrid, the shag with curtain framing, and that sculpted asymmetrical pixie to close things out. Every single one built around real shape, not just less hair. If this helped you walk into your next appointment with more clarity, that's exactly why we make videos like this every week. So here's my ask: subscribe if you haven't, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Drop a like if you're considering one of these 9, and tell me in the comments which one you're leaning toward. Send this to a friend with a salon appointment coming up, she'll thank you. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.